Hi, my name is Erin Davenport. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Anthropology. I'm also the vice chair for graduate studies. And in addition, I teach over in American Indian studies. So I represent the graduate program in anthropology here today. Well, I am biased, so I would say this program is very beneficial for lots of different paths. So as many of you may be aware, anthropology has different subfields, as we call it, so different paths that you can take within the department. So we have an archaeology subfield, linguistic anthropology, I'm a member of that subfield. We have sociocultural anthropology, psychological medical anthropology, and finally, biological anthropology. So not only does our program benefit students who want training across these five different subfields, but within each subfield, I would say that there are paths that we see students taking. So for example, many students across the subfields go into academia, they go into teaching, either at the secondary or college level. Within archaeology, we have a lot of students who go on to work for CRM or public archaeology survey companies. So going out into communities, making sure that new buildings and excavations are done appropriately and with consultation with local communities. In linguistic anthropology, we have students who have gone on to work with Native American tribes or other communities on their language programs, language documentation, and revitalization efforts. For example, in psychological medical anthropology, we have graduate students who, after they finish their PhDs, go on to work in the medical field, either as consultants or as anthropologists, we're trained to really understand contexts through ethnographic research and other research in communities. And so often people are working in the medical field or trying to help doctors and other healthcare practitioners understand those contexts better to better serve patients. And finally, in sociocultural anthropology, we see a lot of graduates go on to work in NGOs or work with other community organizations in addition to teaching. Finally, in biological anthropology, we see students who go on to work as researchers in labs, and they can be interested in anything from human population genetics to working with primates and so forth. And then finally, we have many students across the subfields who go into tech. Increasingly tech companies are interested in promoting diversity, understanding their own institutions almost ethnographically. And so we have several students who have been placed in firms like Adobe or work at Amazon and so forth. Students are admitted into the PhD program, so we don't have just a terminal master's. However, if students don't come in with an MA, and many students, I should say, come in not only with MAs in other fields, but students who don't come in with MAs come from all sorts of backgrounds. So you might have majored as an undergraduate in something that seems completely unrelated to anthropology, but you definitely have a home regardless. I mean, my undergraduate degree and my PhD is not in anthropology, for example. So I would say in terms of the timeline for applying, you have to put together a statement of purpose. You have to get letters of recommendation. You have to think carefully about what kind of project that you might pitch to work on. And this might involve familiarizing yourself with some of the most recent work in whatever subfield you are interested in, or familiarizing yourself with the work of the people in the department. So looking at professors and see whose research might align most closely with your interests. Now, that said, this doesn't mean that you can't change your focus once you're admitted to the program. Many, if not most of our students do. So if you're coming in already with an MA, the degree will probably take between, 5 and 7 years. I know that sounds very wishy-washy, but if you're coming in to the biological anthropological track, then you're more likely to be working in lab settings or with data sets. And so it tends to go a little faster. If, like me, you work in communities and do ethnographic and linguistic research, sometimes it takes longer. You are building relationships of trust, before you go to the field to do ethnographic research. And so sometimes these projects take longer. So we really do, it depends on, to summarize, if you come in with an MA or not, and also what kind of project you are doing. Yes, we offer full funding for all of our graduate students, and all of our graduate students, regardless of which subfield they apply to, receive the same funding package. We feel like this helps promote cohesion across cohorts and also encourages students to work across their subfields, which is one of the, I think, great facets of our program. So funding is provided your first year without having to TA. We want students to just get used to it and take their core classes. And then during the following years, your promised support comes through TAing in undergraduate classes at UCLA. So in addition to this funding that is guaranteed, we also support our students in applying for both UCLA-based funding and also national funding. So you will work with your advisors, your mentors, your teachers here to put together applications for example, funds that could help you pay for ethnographic research, for travel. We have funds available in the department if you want to go to a conference and present a paper. We have, there are funding opportunities that you can apply for also for dissertation write-up funding. So after you've done your research, time to focus on writing up your findings. And so these are just a few examples of funding that's both guaranteed in our department and then also the other funding opportunities that your mentors will help you seek out. I would say one of the most frequently asked questions, and I just got done doing graduate admissions, and so these are all very fresh, is if you can work across subfields. And I hinted at this earlier, but for example, as faculty in linguistic anthropology, I advise students in other subfields. In fact, I think I'm on dissertation committees across all 5 subfields, but that same freedom is available to you as a student. So let's say you come in into the archaeology subfield. You might still want to take some classes in sociocultural anthropology, learn about methods such as ethnographic fieldwork, so that when you are in the field working on an art, say a dig or some sort of project focused on material culture, you also have experience in ethnographic methods. So I would say that people often ask, you know, can I move across the subfields? And the answer is yes. Well, you can reach out to me after, you know, I've been Vice Chair for Graduate Studies now for a few years and have a, I think, broad and deep understanding of not only our program, but also how our program fits into the larger UCLA context. Also, you can reach out to our graduate advisor, who is Jennifer Banawa. I've never worked with such a knowledgeable and I think open-hearted person who really cares about graduate education. She's also in the process of getting her MA in graduate education. So you can reach out to me, reach out to Jennifer. Those would be the 2 main contacts. My piece of advice, you know, on the other side of grad school and many years of teaching under my belt would be really take advantage of your time while you're at UCLA or in any grad program. So you might come in and already know that you want to do this specific project and you want to work with these specific professors, but just take advantage of your time. If you've always wanted to take a Swahili class, do it. If you have always wanted to explore a particular historical period that you think will enrich your work, as a student, you have time to breathe and you don't have to just take this one path. Similarly, you should take classes across your subfields. You can really get to know the discipline of anthropology. And while you're at UCLA, take advantage of all the colloquia that is here. You know, I often joke that I could go to a different talk or workshop every day and still be missing some. So take advantage of those resources, take advantage of the resources such as the Writing Center, really reach out and form bonds with your peers, not just in your department, but also in other units. I ended up, when I was in grad school, really relying on my friends and others that were in my program to, for example, read my writing. And then later on, even after we have all finished up our programs, we still keep in touch, and it really provides a network of colleagues that will last your entire career. Thank you so much for listening to me tell you more about the graduate program in anthropology here at UCLA. I'm Erin Davenport. I'm the Vice Chair for Graduate Studies. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you so much.